Hi everyone, I'm Theresa V, and this is the place to be if you're a sensitive love warrior who wants to feel more alive and live more on purpose in this beautiful world. Each month, I check in with our beloved archangels to see what messages of support they have for us in navigating the energies of the earth at that time. This month, our angels are speaking to us about ushering in the age of love. So many of us have expected the age of love, the new paradigm, to look very different than it looks so far. And what they want us to understand is that we've done so much work to get here. However, the collective needs to bring their vibration to a place where they can sustain a more heart-centered paradigm. And just like we did and we continue to do, there needs to be so much healing that happens for us to be able to function from our heart center. There have been so many personal, collective, and genetic wounds that we have worked through. And our angels are pointing out that so much of the world is now having to do that work when they didn't necessarily seek to do it the same way we did. We were looking to clear. We were looking to live at a higher vibration. The majority of the collective was just thrown in the last few years. And so it's time for us to navigate these waters with great compassion. First of all, for ourselves, because there is some really deep wounding that is coming up for each and every one of us because we are only now able to access it. What happens as the vibration lightens is anything in our system, anything in the collective, in the mass consciousness that doesn't resonate with that vibration, that cannot be brought forth, makes itself known, makes itself apparent, so that we can work through it. We can have the choice to work through or hold on to it. And for those of us who decide to hold on to these old wounds, there is no judgment. Those people will just not be able to move forward into this more love-based paradigm. This is where the great split will happen in terms of the dimensions. There will be people who choose not to move forward, and there will be people who choose to move forward and to work through all of this. But everyone right now, everyone is able to make that choice for themselves. Everything is coming up. There is energy that we have buried very deep as a collective that cannot be brought forward at all. So the angels want us to understand that when we look outside and we feel that sense of disappointment, we feel that sense of hopelessness, like things will never be the ideal that we have imagined that they would be, that is not the case. They want us to understand what is happening so that we can continue to hold the vibration, to hold the vision, to feel what it is like to really every day wake up and feel what it's like to live in a heart-centered paradigm so that we can operate from that place of knowing that that's where we're headed and not get distracted, not get derailed, not get overwhelmed by the amount of work that is being done outside of us, or those new things that are coming up from inside of us that seem to maybe be related to things we had cleared before. When we come up against those things, when they make themselves apparent to us, it can be very frustrating because we have this feeling of, I worked so hard to get rid of this. But our angels want us to understand that there is a level coming up here, a very, very deep level that we just couldn't access before. And it was not for our lack of intention or our lack of trying. It was because the energy of the earth, the energy of the collective just did not support healing at that level. It was not able to be done at the vibration we were living at. And so now, as these things come up, if we can practice gratitude for the ability for them to come up with such ease, even though they might be uncomfortable. We don't have to go digging for them anymore. We don't have to sit and hash through things so much anymore. There might be a degree of that, but it's not the same as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. It was a lot harder to access these things for healing. And so that gratitude can carry us through a lot of those feelings of frustration, of upset, of disappointment. And we can continue to be excited that we are clearing these things in the name of ushering in the more heart-centered paradigm. Our angels want us to understand that this is a global healing. This is perhaps the first time there has been a mass global healing at this scale. So there are days where we are feeling intense emotions, whether it's joy or sadness or anything in between. We might be feeling this very intensely and it makes no sense to us. There isn't necessarily anything that's happening in our lives that seems like it would cause these emotions to happen. Or maybe we are having emotions that are disproportionate to the stimulus. So something little happens and we're having a really big reaction. And our angels want us to understand our willingness to clear ourselves, our genetic line, the race, the religion, the global population. So there is no end to the amount of healing that is being done right now. And our willingness lets us be a part of that at this level. If you're finding that the amount or the degree of emotion that you're feeling is prohibiting you from functioning for a prolonged period of time, then it's time to talk to your higher self. It's time to talk to the angels, to the divine. I am willing to do the work, but I am feeling too much. It is preventing me from living the life that I need to live, doing the work that I need to do to live my purpose here. So what we need to do is back off the feeling. I'm willing to do the clearing. I'm willing to do it energetically, but I need you to help me so that I don't have to feel as much. It is all within our control. The intentionality is key, but they want us to understand why that might be happening so that we don't feel like we are losing it, so that we don't feel like we're completely disconnecting from reality or from ourselves or each other. Sometimes the defense mechanism in these moments is I'm feeling too much, I'm too sensitive, so let me pull myself back from the rest of the population. Let me hide, let me go into sheltering myself and protection. And in this new age of love, we might need to do that for a little bit of time to recenter ourselves. But the real answer to this is not hiding anymore. It's moving into the heart center and connecting from that space. When we can truly connect from the heart center, we don't get affected by energies as deeply as we would have otherwise, because there is an infinite supply of love coming through us and coming to us at all times. And when we can really function from there, we don't have the same level of protection needed. We don't have the same level of needing to pull back and refuel ourselves as we might have done before. And this is part of why so much intense healing is happening, so that we don't have that scar tissue in our heart center, so that we don't have those emotions we're carrying there that are wounds that prevent us from fully opening to the love that can come to and through us, opening our heart center to the rest of humanity, to the rest of the world, to ourselves. And so now the angels want us to understand why this is happening, that this beautiful intention we've set for so long, it's all coming to fruition. We thought it would be easy, but we didn't account for the healing and the clearing that needed to take place. And we have spent so long practicing for this. We can do this. We have done this. Just keep reminding yourself that this is what we're doing. Our angels and our guides remind us how much pain we had to experience before in order to heal things. A lot of times we had to re-experience them. We had to relive them In the relatively recent past, we've been given the grace of divine dispensation, where if we can heal something without re-experiencing the pain of it, we are allowed to do so. And if we need to re-experience the pain or the situation, it's to much less of a degree than we would have had to otherwise. And this is wherever possible. And so our angels want to remind us of that, where what we're doing now, just what you did yesterday, today, last week, would have taken lifetimes otherwise. We are moving so much, and they want you to take a moment and recognize yourself for all of the work that you've done to get to this point where you can sustain that kind of energy. Even when you're feeling, oh, it's too much, I can't do this anymore, I'm not worthy, whatever it is that we are telling ourselves, to just take that moment to recognize how much work it took to get to this point where you are able to do this, where you are able to be at this level of service for yourself, for humanity, for the world, for the divine. If there was ever a time to release, it is now. They want us to not hold back. Sometimes we feel like we can't fully do the release because we don't have time to deal with all of the emotions that are coming up. We don't have time to process through the healing. We have too many other things to do, and they want us to make that time. If we just carve out a part of our day to feel into what it is we're experiencing, what it is we can do to clear ourselves, then that little bit of time will be utilized for that, and the energy won't have to drag on and drag out. We're giving it a space to be processed. We're giving it a space to clear. It doesn't have to take days and weeks and months and intense emotions and all of the things. It can be done in a relatively short period of time. They are asking us to be willing to let it go now, no matter what it is. It cannot come forward with you in this new heart-centered paradigm, in the age of love. Let it go. Please, please let it go. And our angels are there with us every step of the way. They're holding us up when it doesn't feel like we can hold ourselves up. They're giving us a space to rest our head when we need support, when we need a shoulder to cry on. They are there for us. They are there for us in everything. Do not hesitate to call on them and ask for their help. The angels are also saying, please, 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 if you feel that you are missing the old way, if you need to grieve something that came before, if you're missing something about the way we functioned in the old paradigm, give yourself time to grieve. We are actually shifting into new identities. We are each coming into a new aspect of our identity, and maybe even a completely new identity. So we might want to grieve who and what we were before. Give yourself time and space to do that. It is okay. That doesn't mean you're holding on to what came before. It means that you are letting it go. Because when we grieve, something new is on the horizon. No matter how painful the letting go is, no matter how much we loved what it was that came before, we are in the process of being willing to understand what came before is no longer, and what is next, what is new, is something that we are open to. We are moving all of that energy that would be holding on to what was in service to creating space for what we know is necessary. Whenever something shifts and changes, and this doesn't happen instantaneously, this is over the course of time traditionally, the pendulum will swing really far in one direction, and then there'll be pushback. So the pendulum swings in one direction, and then the pushback swings it, or tries to swing it, all the way in the other direction. The angels want us to understand that this is a natural part of being human, and it has been up until now. The ego, the beautiful, beautiful ego, its job is to keep us safe. Its job is to keep us alive. So when the pendulum swings in the direction of the unknown, right? This is a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of being that we're being faced with. The ego says, we don't know what to expect there. We have no idea what's coming. What we know is what came before, even though it was uncomfortable, even though we were kind of just running on a treadmill in places. We want to go back there because we know that was safe. We survived that. You survived that. You have made it through. So that means it was safe. So come on, let's go back. And it pulls the pendulum back in the other direction, or it tries to. And that's what we're seeing in the world right now. There is big resistance coming up to moving fully into this unknown. And that is okay. It's okay. It's a natural function. And the angels are saying when we can understand that, when we can understand why this is happening, that it's a natural function of our biology, of the ego, serving to keep us safe, wanting to love us so much to protect us. We can be compassionate. First of all, with others in the world when we see it happening at large scale, but also when it happens within us, when that resistance comes up within us because we don't know what's next and we're feeling uncomfortable in the unknown. Have that compassion, have that gratitude for your ego, for keeping you safe, for wanting to love you so much to make sure that you survive. And then when we acknowledge that, when we can be one with that resistance and understand why it's happening, we can let it go. And we can more fearlessly, though maybe trepidatiously, move forward into the unknown. Our angels are asking us, can you accept all of the change that is happening? Can you accept the change that is happening within you? The change that you're experiencing in your life, in your calling, in your purpose? Can you calmly accept it? Can you be present with what is coming up to clear so that you can move forward, so that you can be more clear, be more functional from the heart center? Can you accept that change? And then after that, can you allow in the new? Can you understand that what is coming is exactly what you've been asking for so long? It's what you've been praying for, been working for. That's what's coming. Can you allow the change in service to what is new? If we keep bringing ourselves back to this present moment, no matter what is happening in the world around us, if we keep coming back here, if we keep coming back to the heart center, we will continuously be okay. And if it gets hard, or even if it's not hard, we can call on our angels at every step of the way to be there with us. It doesn't just have to be when it's hard. It can be just because we want to walk more in joy with our angels at our side. They are always there for us, and they want us to know that there is nothing too big or too small. Don't ever feel guilty, feel ashamed for calling on them for anything. You will never, ever take them away from anyone else. You will never take them away from anything that you think is more important than what you're asking for, because they can be with everyone, everywhere, at the exact same time. And their purpose is to help you with what it is that you need to be more in a space of peace at every moment in time, because you are the hands and the heart of the divine on this planet. And you right now are working in service to the change that is establishing heaven on earth here. What could be more important than that? Your angels want you to know how deeply loved you are, how important you are, how every step you take, you are not alone, and how every need that you have is seen and accounted for before it even arises. All you need to do is ask. They cannot intervene without your permission. And when it gets hard, in those moments, finding gratitude is the best way back to center. It's the best way back to this present moment and to the heart center. That feels very complete from our angels for this month. If you would like to connect more deeply with your angels and hear the messages that they have for the world and have your personal questions answered, join us for the next Angel Transformation Hour. These hour-long virtual gatherings are completely donation-based. Also, check out our Embracing Your Health and True Potential workshop, where we'll talk about how, as sensitives, we can leverage the world around us and inside of us to have a more ease and grace-filled experience in our lives, as well as more energy to live our true purpose. The links to both of these events are in the comments section or in the description of this video. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful to be able to connect with you in this way, and I look so forward to connecting with you again at either or both of the events coming up. I'm sending you so much love and so much gratitude.